Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Juicy. We're doing our LSU preview here today. Gonna talk about all things about them fighting Tigers from Baton Rouge in this upcoming episode here, as the Tigers take on them Rebels from Ole Miss, number 20 ranked Ole Miss. This upcoming Saturday, they'll be on the road in Oxford, Mississippi, for the big game on Saturday. So let me introduce everybody. Juicy, how you doing today, Juicy?
Oh, I am awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well myself here. So Juicy, Arkansas game was close. The battle for the Golden Boot this past weekend was a very close game. LSU secondary left a lot to be desired. I know we talked about this and we've been on top of this since we started this season here. I mentioned in the preseason preview that we did that I felt the weak point of LSU's team was their secondary. And of course, it's rearing its ugly head again. So, what you think? You think it's Do you think it's the weakest point of the team?
I do think it's a good point. I mean, they've had flashes of being good, but they haven't consistently been that secondary that no fly zone as some people would call it. They haven't been, I think, that throughout the whole game. They were that long enough to allow LSU's offense to catch back up and get back in the game and take the lead, and then the defense kind of just went away after that. It became a shootout, but it was just more of a secondary that allows big plays to keep Arkansas game. Of course, had a few penalties, whatever, but I mean, yeah, so far it's showing. Even though it played well against Mississippi State the week before, but if LSU wants to beat Ole Miss, they're gonna have to have consistency on both sides of the ball throughout the whole game.
You know, it's kind of crazy to me. A lot of LSU fans want to blame Jaden Daniels for a lot of the problems LSU has, but it's really hard to argue with the numbers here. I mean, LSU's offense, Arkansas against Arkansas, they scored 34 points, okay? Mississippi State, they scored 41. Grambling, they scored 72. Even in their first game, they scored 24 points, which granted it got away from them in that game, but they still the last three games, they were averaging over 30 points a game. So over 30 points a game. I mean, it's kind of hard to blame anything on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think it's really Jaden Daniels himself. He is making plays for this team here. But is it scheme or I don't know what it is. Why you think so many LSU fans blame Jaden Daniels?
Oh, because it's a quarterback. It's a quarterback centered sport now. Quarterbacks get the blame for everything, get the praise for everything when it goes good. I mean, it's just everybody just wants to. It's just how it is. Everybody just blames the quarterback. Quarterbacks take the heat or take the praise. That's all. That's how it is nowadays.
You know, it's kind of fun that they don't play both sides of the ball unless you're Darnell Hunter. But you know, I mean, I would love to see Darnell Hunter come back from Colorado, but for Colorado. But anyway, LSU is 3-1 so far this year. They won 7 of their last 10 games here. Their ELO is so far this year is number 14. Their strength of schedule opponent win percentage is 72%, and that is good for 31st best in the country. Their strength of schedule is 59 so far in the country. Non-conference strength of schedule winning percentage, they've had a pretty tough non-conference schedule at number 14 in the country at 80%, which, you know, Georgia State, one of them further down the line, Army, that's the other two non-conference games they have left to play this year. So LSU, you know, they're going to take on 3-1. Ole Miss, who, you know, they lost to Alabama this past weekend, which I predicted Ole Miss to win that game, but it did not work out for me in that one here. So um LSU will win the game if they do what, Juicy?
Score more points than Ole Miss.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's very easy to do, right? Easier said than done, of course. But But what's
No, they'll win. No, they'll win the game if first of all they don't turn the ball over. Obviously the offense keeps rolling like it has, and that secondary, just the secondary and the defense together, cut down the penalties, quit giving them first downs after stopping them with personal fouls or roughing the passers or pass interferences. In the secondary just has to play consistently every game for 4 quarters. Stop giving them the big plays. Don't let the ball get behind because we know Lane Kiffin loves to go fast and loves to throw the ball deep. So you have to watch out for that. And Jackson Dart can run, but they need to keep him in the pocket, keep him contained. And if the offense plays like they should take care of business and they should win the game.
I mean, it's kind of an interesting year so far for college football. Ole Miss is very good at like that fast paced, hurry up pace kind of offense, and that's something that a lot of teams struggle with here. I think if LSU can be good at getting their substitutions in, keeping guys being fresh, making tackles when they need an open space, not and limiting the big play opportunities that Ole Miss is going to try to open up in this game. That will be a pivotal point in this game for LSU in those moments. Will they rise up or will they get, beaten, right? So if
LSU's talented beat anybody. They just have to put it out there. They just have to execute consistency.
consistency is the key to winning a championship, right? So which is in all sports, right? You want to be as consistent as you possibly can and see what happens here. So we're gonna run a little bit of a prediction here, the little predictor here. Who's gonna win the SEC this year? So let's run our predictor up here. So the predicted final conference standings in the SEC. The East has Georgia winning it, and in the West, Alabama is predicted to win the West Division, which LSU is predicted to finish second with a 6-2 conference record. So you're probably wondering who's the two losses in conference. So we're gonna run our little predictor. I love this little predictor because it kind of makes things to see kind of where everything's at right now and what's going on. So the predictor has LSU finishing as of today 9-3 and 6-2 in conference play. Okay, so it has them losing to Ole Miss this weekend, wins against Missouri, wins against Auburn, wins against Army. They got them losing to Alabama, got them beating Florida, beating Georgia State, and beating Texas A&M. So you're probably wondering, like,
I could see all those, but if they could squeak out a win against Ole Miss, then that would really boost their chances to win the West. Because those other teams you mentioned don't outside Alabama aren't really, are definitely beatable for sure.
this is going to be one of those that's going to be really tough on. Like it, the SEC is brutal because they beat up everybody every single year, and that's just the way it goes here. So if we're going to look at like go a little bit deeper into this LSU squad here, looking at advanced stats because numbers never really lie and tell you the story here. So offensive points per game for LSU, that's good for 24th in the country. Defensive points that they give up is 25, which is 98th. Margin of victory 17.8, which is 19th best in the country. The remaining strength of schedule difficulty is brutal. They're ranked number 8 in the remaining strength of schedule difficulty. And the winning percentage is also ranked number 8 in the country as well. With the teams that have won their winning percentage is over 78% altogether. So it's gonna be tough on LSU. They come up here. Usually LSU, their best quarter so far this year has been the second quarter. They scored their most points in the second quarter so far this year, scoring 62 of their 171 points that LSU has scored so far this year. So, like, we look at all this stuff and we try to predict what the best outcome will be for the LSU here. So, what's their if they beat Ole Miss this week, how much will they increase and decrease? If they win, they'll gain 23.0 yellow points, which will put them above. Let's see, that would probably put them 11th, I think, because they'll be at they'll be 11th, and that'll make them jump Oklahoma possibly. And right now they're 14th. So we'll see what happens there. It's going to be an interesting game for sure here. I think LSU's defense, if they can get pressure on the quarterback, I think, and force him to make some throws before he's ready, that could be a big pivotal moment in the game and maybe make a huge play somewhere for them to, maybe recover a fumble or interception. It's going to be interesting to see what happens out there Saturday. So, Juicy, without further ado, I know this is your favorite thing probably to do, as is mine. So, you want to go pick some games or what? Juicy, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, I got you. I was wondering, I was like, I was asking you ready to pick some games or what? Because I said it was your favorite thing to do.
I love picking games.
Let's go pick some games here this week here. So, we are in week number 5 of the college football season, and this is the top 25 games being played this weekend. Our first game is going to be on a Friday, 8 o'clock. Utah, undefeated so far this year, taking on number 19, Oregon State, number 10, Utah. They'll be on the road here. What you thinking? Juicy, who you going with in this game?
I think I would go with. I think I'm gonna go with the Beavers winning this game.
The Utes?
No, I got the Beavers.
Oh, the Beavers. Okay. They are, I think, yeah, they're 3-point favorites. This is an interesting one here. I'm gonna go with Utah though. I think they'll end up establishing their running game, and their quarterback will play well enough to get the win over the Beavers this weekend. It's on FS1 if anybody wants to watch that one. Coming up, and 11 a.m. kickoff for the Florida Gators taking on Kentucky. Florida's ranked number 22 so far this year. Kentucky's a 1-point favorite, so basically straight pick if you're a pit that kind of guy, betting on the games and stuff. So, Juicy, who you going with that game?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the Wildcats.
The Wildcats. You know what? I'm gonna go with you too. I think they'll beat Florida. I think Kentucky's got a little bit more complete team than Florida does right now. Even though Florida has ruled all 3 straight wins, I think Kentucky being undefeated, I think they'll really get the job done over Florida. Number 6, Penn State taking on Northwestern, another 11 o'clock game on Saturday on the Big Ten Network. Northwestern State, Penn State's favored by 27. Who you got, Juicy?
Yeah, I'm going with Penn State.
I got it. I got Penn State winning this one too. I think they'll take care of business. Number 8, USC versus Colorado at 3-1. Colorado got embarrassed this past weekend.
Thank God.
Yeah, I love seeing an underdog story, and Colorado was a good underdog story here, but you got to write a little bit better script here. USC's defense isn't the best this year, but I'm going with the Trojans to beat the Buffalo. Who you got, Juicy?
I'm going with the Trojans. I think Colorado might face another beatdown this week, to be honest with you.
Hey, they're already having a better year than they did last year. Number 24. Yeah, number 24, Kansas versus number 3, Texas. Texas favored by 16.5 on ABC at a 2:30 kickoff in that game. I think Texas looks like a really good team so far this year. The only problem with Texas is they seem like the receivers are having a hard time catching the football for some reason this year. That is one thing that it'd be hitting them right square in the hands, and they just can't seem to hold on to the ball very well this year. But I think they'll get it done against Kansas. They're at home, so give me the Longhorns to beat Kansas. Who you got, Juicy?
Interesting that past few times they've played that Kansas and Texas have played each other have all the games have been within 10 points of each other. I think Kansas just beat Texas a couple of years ago or whatever. Texas and Kansas actually is a pretty tough matchup for Texas teams. But as bad as I want the Jayhawks to win, I think Texas will pull this one out.
Don't tell Mike Concho that, man. He was wanting to fight you. Number 2, Michigan versus Nebraska. So I think Michigan takes this one. I don't think Nebraska's they're a 17-point underdog is Nebraska. I like if I was betting, I might actually take Nebraska maybe, but it's I'm kind of flip-floppy on that one for sure from the betting side of things, but straight pick, give me Michigan to win that game all day. Who you got, Juicy?
Oh, I'm taking Michigan.
If you're a bet, would you take the 17 points in Nebraska?
I would take Nebraska. I mean, you don't have to put a lot of money on the underdog to get a big payout. So
Oh yeah, of course. Always bet underdog if you want a good payout. Number 1, Georgia versus Auburn. I have not been that impressed this year with Georgia. Um, as a whole, they might be coming into a groove. They're 4-0, taking on Auburn. They're going on the road. Auburn's 3-1. Give me the Bulldogs. I got them winning. Who you got, Juicy?
I still got Georgia. Even though I agree with you, haven't been impressive, but they haven't they haven't disappointed me enough to like really think that Auburn can pull off the upset here. So I got Georgia.
Number 23, Missouri versus Vanderbilt. I would love Vanderbilt to pull this off. Missouri's like you don't normally see Missouri ranked up in the top 25 as much anymore. They're, the late 2000s, they were kind of running in that Chase Daniels period, to kind of like their most recent big run in so far. But being 4-0 and 23 ranked in the country is a good accomplishment for them. I got the Tigers. Give me Missouri to beat Vanderbilt. Who you got, Juicy?
This one I'm actually conflicted about because Vanderbilt has Vandy beat Missouri last year. No, never mind. No, they didn't beat them last year. I'm thinking of Kentucky and Florida. They beat back to back weeks. But they do have close matchups with Missouri. From what I remember the past few years. But I'll take the Tigers in this game.
All right. I know we didn't pick it yet, but who you think wins? Number 13 LSU or number 20 Ole Miss? Who you got, Juicy?
You know, I guess I'm gonna go. I might regret it, but I'll go with LSU, but only because I think this game's gonna be a shootout, and I think their defense might do just enough. Their defense might make that one play or that one turnover that tilts the game in their favor. But I do think it'll. Ole Miss could very well win, but I'm gonna just go with LSU just because I don't
Yeah.
know, and I guess since I'm an LSU fan, I guess I'll give LSU the benefit of the doubt.
This one, I'm conflicted just like you. I picked Ole Miss last week to beat Alabama. The predictor is going against your wishes. It has Ole Miss winning by a touchdown. I feel like it's going to be a one possession game. I do agree with Vegas. It'd be 2.5 that Ole Miss is getting in this game. They're the underdog for sure. Um, this is basically a straight pick. Who you think's going to win? I think LSU gets it done. I'm gonna go with LSU because I think they'll I agree with you say. I think there's gonna be a shootout with the offenses here. Ole Miss is gonna score points. I think on LSU's defense because I don't think LSU's secondary is gonna be able to slow down Ole Miss's wide receiver and passing game options here. But here's the thing: I think LSU will get enough pressure to force Ole Miss into making a mistake somewhere in this game, whether it be an interception or a fumble recovery. I do think an interception is going to be thrown by Ole Miss in this game here, so I'm going to go stick to it. I think LSU is going to show why they're DBU in this game and make a critical stop at one point in this game. I'm picking LSU to beat Ole Miss in this game. Maybe a field goal is what I'm going with, but that is what it is. Number 9, Oregon taking on Stanford. Give me Oregon, Juicy. Who you got?
Give me the Ducks.
Especially after the beatdown of Colorado State last week. Iowa State number 4 against number 14, Oklahoma. I got Oklahoma winning this one. Who you got, Juicy?
I'll take Oklahoma as well.
Number 11, Notre Dame taking on number 17, Duke. Now, this one I'm interested in. Literally, Notre
Duke is
Dame
actually.
could be
I've actually been
Notre Dame
impressed with here.
it could be a 5-0 team if they could have made a goal line stand last week against Ohio State here. You know that the thing that kind of blew up was the Luke Holtz and Ryan Day thing going on between them two, the beef they have going on. I mean, hey, it made headlines. We got to talk about it somewhat, but as far as like the football game pick here, you know, I'm gonna go with the Blue Devils, dude. I think Duke wins it. What you
I've
think,
been,
Juicy?
you hit the nail on the head. I guess they don't teach. I guess they don't teach how to count at Notre Dame because the last play of the game they only had 10 players out on the field on defense against Ohio
Yeah.
State, so they don't know how to count or teach you how to count at Notre Dame. But I've really been impressed with Duke this year. Actually, Duke really looks like a pretty good team. I'm with you. I'm gonna go with the Blue Devils in this game.
Hey man, we must be looking at each other's script right here. South Carolina taking on number 21 Tennessee. Now, South Carolina's offensive line is something that I can't get behind too much this year because if I was a quarterback of the Gamecocks, I would be in the hospital right now with a broken leg or something. That's why I'm picking the Volunteers. Who you got, Juicy?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Volunteers as well. But remember, South Carolina pulled the upset on them last year, though. But I don't think they're gonna get them twice. I'll take Tennessee.
And them going on the road to Neyland Stadium, I don't think it's gonna happen. Number 12, Alabama versus Mississippi State. Give me the Crimson Tide. They're gonna roll against Mississippi State. Who you got, Juicy?
I'm not. I'm never gonna say roll Tide, but I'll take the Tide in this game.
I never said roll ties. They're gonna roll. There's a difference. Number 7, Washington versus Arizona. Give me Washington. I think they're probably the best Pac-12 team this year. Who you got, Juicy?
Yeah, I'll take Washington as well. I don't know if they're the best Pac-12 though. Oregon might give them a run for their money.
Yeah, I'm kind of flip-flop between them two, but right now I think Washington is.
Or
Because
USC.
yeah, we'll see. I don't know about USC. Their defense is kind of iffy
But
at
nobody in the
best.
Pac defense.
Nevada versus number 25, Fresno State. Give me Fresno State. Nevada hasn't won a game yet. I think they'll be 0-5. Who you got, Juicy?
Fresno State.
Fresno State. All right. So we did our top 25 picks for the week here, and including our LSU preview here. So leave your thoughts in the comments below. We're going to have this on all our different social media profiles that we do. And, follow us. That's one thing we always ask people to do here. Try to put out as much content as we can every week. So thank you for tuning into the Fishbowl Radio. We'll be a great, wonderful night. We'll see y'all next time here on the Fishbowl Radio. Me and Juicy
Good
pick
night.
LSU to beat Ole Miss. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation.
Good night.